One thing I just wanted to ask was, how does a man's fear or insecurities impact them in relation to domestic violence?
Yeah, I guess that's a good question. So thinking about, so let's look at fear itself as a driver behind that. Mm-hmm. So what is the man actually fearing? You know, so if we look at it, it might be a new relationship. So what the fear is there is a lot of uncertainty.
So him having a new relationship, or that his partner's having a new relationship, or what do you mean, Dean?
Sure. So I mean, say for example, the man has just started a new relationship.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So, and this man is a perpetrator of domestic violence.
Okay.
His background, so he has a history of it. He has a history, but he's on his best behaviour.
Yeah.
So he's he's pulling out all the stops, and what he's doing is that he's really showing this new potential long-term partner, if you like, his best side.
Oh yeah,
his best side.
Yeah.
So we know that the underlying thread, though, is this controlling behaviour. Mm-hmm. We know that that's been playing out in his past relationships.
Right.
So what we can observe is the fear is this uncertainty. Is this going to become a long-term relationship? Is this person going to be just with me, if you like? So all of these fears start to present, which are ultimately driven by a need to control. Right. A need to control. Mm-hmm. So what are we trying to control? We're trying to control that person is just ours.
Right.
Okay. So this is one of the fears. The other one is that what we're doing is we're trying to control that this person, not only being exclusive to me, is basically going to be with me for the long term.
Right.
So we start to then. So once we've got this element or this need, if you like, to control, because that's what it ultimately look at. So if you look at a number of documentaries where we've looked at. Well, one of the stories that pops up into mind was Muslim men that were grooming women, if you like, from overseas to become their partner.
Right.
They were grooming them. So again, as I was saying at the beginning, they're showering them with gifts. Because what they're doing is trying to create this environment that the woman feels, wow,
this guy's fantastic.
This guy's fantastic. He's amazing. Yeah, that's it. He's fantastic.
I've been looking for this guy, and I go, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what happens more often than not is and we've seen it in these documentaries, is that the woman then travels overseas sometimes or to another state, and then everything changes. Right. The honeymoon period disappears, and then the controlling nature, which is driven from the fear. Remember, the fear is that I need a partner that I can replay out this repetitive pattern that makes me feel good about myself. Okay. That's the driver. Right. So you see the dance? So we've got already that person has become what you mentioned earlier about a woman feeling powerless. Suddenly now they're in this relationship where this man is showing her, pulling out all the stops, and it's all fantastic. And then it changes. Right. We see it so many times. Yes. Rosie Batty's scenario. The father's, amazing, and then, wow, lo and behold, he murders the son. The horrendous things. But again, it's these repetitive patterns, these dangerous cycles that start to be born from the fears. What's the fear driven on? The fear is that he needs someone to fill that void. Someone to fill that void where it feels like it completes that pattern, that cycle. It allows him to gain control. Right. I'll give you an example. Yeah. Give you an example of this. So I remember. So I shared that I had this aspect resides in me, right. And I remember starting a new relationship, and what I started to notice was I started to check the phone. Because it was like, oh, wow, who's she contacting? Right. Who's she going out with? Right. It was like, wow, it was like, I didn't know this type of behaviour existed in me. I'm being honest, to checking her phone. Right. And it was And again, this was the fear that the fear was this person wasn't exclusive to me.
Right.
Wasn't exclusive. Whereas now the way I see it is that my wife, wherever she goes, is up to her. It's her choice. It's nothing to do with me. You know, for me to have fears about who someone is with and etc. they're natural, of course, because we love the person. There's an attachment there. There's an attachment. However, what is unhealthy is when we start to control. We look at the phone, what's going on there. We start to question them about who they're going to see, who they're going out with. We start to, and this is what it stems from. And a lot of these stories that I've seen on documentaries or read about or spoke to with men, it tends to start that way. It starts where we start to question them.
Right.
We start to
Where were you?
Where were you? You said you were going here, but you went there.
And you said you'd be home in an hour, and it's an hour and a half.
Yes.
Or even an hour, 5 minutes late.
5 minutes late. And the fears are...
And I'm feeling the fear. I'm feeling that sense of anxiety that something might be going on behind my back.
Yes.
Like, I don't really trust you, because if you have to prove to me that I'm the centre of your universe, really. That I'm number one. And as I'm doing that, I'm realising I'm feeling... I have to control to feel okay, and it's really stressful. I'm monitoring. It's hard work, actually. It's nowhere near. It's a long way from being relaxed. I'm like hyper vigilant. That's the level of fear I'm just feeling, getting into that mode myself. It's not a good way for actually me to be living, to feel I have to do that, but I don't know what else to do at the moment. Does that make sense, Dan?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's exactly what the experience is, what these fears are.
Yeah. So I'd like nothing more to break that cycle, but I actually don't know. I don't believe it's possible, probably, with the thinking that I have at that particular point in time. And I think it's important that we say and let the guys know it certainly is possible, and you can have, as I know you know, a better quality of life. You don't have to be that way. You don't have to be that way. You can actually feel. I'm getting probably feel really deserving to be loved for who you are.
Yeah, that's. I guess, if I was to say to the guys here that are experiencing that fear now, and they're going through that cycle of, that need to, or that aspect of you that needs to control things. The way to work with that is really to work on the strategy of stop. So, and what I mean by that is, so if we think about a traffic light, So stopping allows us space between us and, say, that fear. It gives us space, between it. Yeah. Because when we're in it, and the anxiety and sometimes panic that builds up. Yeah. Where is she? Yeah. She says she would be home at this time, but she's not. Yeah. And then it builds up. Yeah. And then it's, I'm checking the watch, and it's like, and then it's like, the scenarios are going through the mind. She's sleeping with someone else, and all of these stories. Yeah. In that moment, that's where it's really important to use this stop. To give us space. What happens is that, so if we look at, I'll just do a quick overview of the fight and flight scenario and freeze. So when we're in the fight, flight or freeze, which is really our primitive brain, if you like, it was great in prehistoric times to help us get away from the saber-toothed tiger, which was really important, or to help us deal with issues that were going on in our tribe, where we've got to fight and stuff like that. However, in today's times, it's not that useful to be caught up in that cycle all of the time. And a lot of it's is driven through our thinking. Yeah. So we create a story around.
Yeah. And or we roll out fantasies.
The fantasies.
Like visual images it can be as well, isn't
That's
it?
right.
Like, I know she's with her, and I'm starting to create an image in my mind of where she could be, who she's with, and maybe they're talking about me. So I'm creating all this fantasy.
Yep. Very much so.
You know, yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So we need to give us a bit of space between that. So when we utilise, the analogy stop, what it does is like we've stopped at the traffic light, if you like.
Thank you.
And now the engine is just ticking.
Okay.
Now we're just ticking. So what we do in that scenario is we then start to breathe. So what we're really saying is that we're trying to break that cycle. So that real tension, that stress that is building up, we're trying to break the cycle. And there's numerous ways that we can do that.
Okay.
So when we stop, what that does is it gives us space. So in that space, when we start to breathe, what we do is we start to move towards that relax and digest system. Our parasympathetic nervous system, you may have heard it called, rather than the sympathetic nervous system, which is our fight or flight. So we start to slow things down. So we know that when we're in a slower, more relaxed state, we're then able to make a choice.
You're right.
So we've got a choice. So we can say to ourselves, so we've stopped, we've slowed our breathing down. We may utilise some grounding. So because it's a lot of heady stuff, we're very much in our heads. We're, like you said, we're visualising and coming up with all these fantasies. So it means that we're very much within our head.
Yeah.
So a grounding can be as easy as having our feet placed on the ground.
Yeah.
Feet placed on the ground, and just feel the ground on the feet. So what we're starting to do then is that, when we focus on breath, or we focus on our feet on the ground, what we're doing is we're changing our concentration from fantasy land to more reality.
Yeah, right.
Fantasy to reality. And, oftentimes you might hear it described as relaxation or meditation. It doesn't have to be any of those descriptions.
Yeah.
We can just say it as, I'm breaking the cycle. I'm breaking the cycle.
Yeah.
So we can ground. We can go for a walk. We can go for a drive in the car. What these things do is get our attention from fantasy land back onto, okay, this is what's really going on.
So here and now, coming into the here and now, being aware of my senses here and now, like what am I actually touching?
Yep.
How am I breathing? I'm taking a breath. Being aware of the breath as I'm actually doing it. Maybe actually really tuning into literally what I see, what I hear right now, and staying in the here and now. And being like, okay. So right now, right here, right now, everything's actually fine.
It is.
Because there's nothing else going on. I'm okay.
That's right.
I'm here.
That's right.
Okay. I can gather myself a bit.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. So it's a strategy.
It's a strategy.
Yeah.
And along with that is, so we were talking about fear. So it's okay to feel the fear.
Yeah, right.
It's okay to feel the fear.
Yeah.
Because
of course.
there is some uncertainty there.
Yeah.
There is some uncertainty. That's a fact. There is uncertainty.
Yeah.
However, we've got a choice of how we see that uncertainty. The uncertainty could be, we can switch that thought or story in our mind to, I hope my partner or wife is having a lovely time.
Yep.
I hope she's having a good time.
Yeah.
And I'm actually enjoying myself having a bit of space and time here with myself.
Yeah.
I'm actually enjoying having this time and space for myself.
Yeah.
And then what we do is we acknowledge the fear without the story. Because that's really important.
So how do you do that? I mean, that's just a good point. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you, Dan.
So we do that by coming into the body. So when we say about coming into the body, we're not talking about woohoo yoga techniques or anything like that. What we're saying is that coming into the body means that we start to experience the sensations, feelings, and what is present in the here and now, right now. So when we do that, what it does is it allows us to be within the truth. So the truth is that, yes, I'm feeling tense in my body related to the fear.
Yeah.
I'm feeling some fear and what does that fear feel like? Oh, it's in my belly.
Yeah, right.
That's interesting.
Right.
Well, almost like a sick type of feeling.
Okay, yeah.
I feel very hollow in that area.
Right, yeah.
Okay, okay, that's true. I do feel that. I also feel that my breathing is quite rapid. That's true as well. That's quite interesting. Interesting. So what we're noticing is all the chemical changes from what the emotions are created within inside of us. So we've already said earlier on in this interview that we said, what's the difference between a good man and a domestic violence perpetrator caught in the cycle?
Yeah.
We've said a good man is someone that experiences and acknowledges their emotions, but without the translation into actions.
Right.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Whereas a perpetrator is someone that becomes emotional, reacts on it.
Yes.
You know, they're caught in the fight or flight.
Yeah, right.
So,
Yep.
what's the strategy? Get into the here and now. Get into the present.
Yeah.
Can be done with many things.
Yeah.
I just want to share with you that one of the most fascinating things that I've seen in regards to growth at the moment on social media is Wim Hof's programs.
Okay.
The Iceman. So Wim Hof is the Iceman, and he's become famous because he's been able to shift his body into the parasympathetic nervous system that relax and digest, which ultimately allows him to experience things in the present, and he puts himself into really cold, extreme environments.
Okay. Right.
And the reason that he's not reacting to these environments is because he's become so skilled in being able to be in the present moment that he's able to just feel his truth.
Wow.
So his programs is all about utilizing breathing to calm things down, to be able to relax. And what they've seen, the knock-on effect of this is what we're seeing is healing of diseases.
Wow.
So much healing from, from I won't refer to him now. But you can have a look up on his website and look at Wim Hof and some of the diseases that like autoimmune and all of these types of conditions have been healing, because what we're doing is we're getting back into that part of the system which is without stress.
Right.
So we know that the stress is the problem.
Stress is the problem.
So fight or flight, we need a bit of stress to drive us. We need that bit of stress.
Yeah.
Too much stress, the fantasy land and dropping into helplessness and stuff like that is unhelpful.
Yeah,
we know
right,
that.
Of course it is.
So,
and of course it just is a very stressful way to live. And being controlling is stressful as well, because
very much so.
I have to be so hyper vigilant all the time. But that's my normal, so I don't of course realise I'm so stressed. But I'm in a constant state of arousal, having to kind of check everything and make sure everything's okay, just so I feel okay. But if I was a lot more able to have a wider universe of acceptability for myself and for people in my world, I could actually be a lot more relaxed about what happens, and I could let the ebb and flow happen a lot more, so it'd be easier for me, actually. I could actually enjoy life. Because I don't know about you, Dean, but I don't find controlling people have a lot of joy.
Yeah, I would say that was true. They're living their life with that driving factor of fear.
Yeah.
Fear is the biggest driver. And like you said, the knock-on effect to employing these strategies and creating more peace and calm is ultimately we're able to strip the layer back from the heart. That thing that that controlling behaviour is driving us to be very defensive.
Yes.
So when our partner comes home from work or whatever, ultimately we're already in our minds going fast forward to the next fight.
Yeah, right.
So we're already shut down.
Right.
We're already within that fight, flight or freeze cycle.
Right.
So the opportunity to be open and to allow the ebb and flow, as you just said, is it's just not there.
Yeah.
It's just not there. We're not able to give and receive and to connect.
Yeah.
We're not able to hold space to ask our partner, how's your day? And then to sit with that and really listen.
Yeah. So paradoxically, we're pushing away the very thing that we want, because in my aspect of control, which is to help deal with my fear of them leaving, I have no space to actually build a relationship based on mutual trust and understanding, and let them see who I am, and actually have a real quality relationship and feel better in myself about myself, which would be just like probably in my heart what I'd really like to do, if only I knew it was possible.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping with this video that maybe we can show that it is. Yeah.